Hello, welcome to game 5 already of this stage of the World Championship of Through the Ages. It's the two-player game against E5 and yeah, it finished on the day it started. E5 is a blissfully fast player, so our game was finished very soon and we are finished ahead of the last three-player game to finish. So I already have one result of a two-player game and I will show you this game now. Leaders and wonders. As you know, I tend to skip over this, but in two-player, I do check out the H2 leaders at least, because the H2 leaders are not very well balanced for two-player currently, because two in particular, Bach and Shakespeare, are just overpowered. Because culture strategies tend to be good in two-player, and these two are extremely good at those, and so their presence in the game is already very warping and influences many decisions, so it's good to know at the start that these are in. And then there's the next tier of culture leaders, which is Darwin and Gaudi, so Gaudi is also in the game. I should say Gaudi because it's like an accent on the E. And then there's other leaders as well. Anyway, so Bach and Shakespeare are in this game, so we might see a culture fest, which I'm sure everybody is very happy about. E5 takes Hammurabi, obviously, best leader and yeah, easy. So I get a choice of taking Acropolis or Library for 2, basically. Acropolis is the consensus best winner in two-player. And especially in the games with the culture leaders, it tends to be very good. It's good at these culture fests. So I should just take it, I suppose. Unfortunately, it means the library drops to 1, but yeah, not much I can do about it. If I don't take a wonder here, just doesn't make sense. He gets Acropolis for 1 anyway, so I have to give him one of these for 1 action. And one thing is, Acropolis has a little bit of anti-synergy with Hammurabi, because Hammurabi, one of his strengths is that he can go so easily for a revolution, while Acropolis, of course, wants you to develop the government normally. So it's a little bit of anti-synergy, but yeah, you're still happy to get basically the best leader and the best wonder, even if they're not perfect together. So I'm just gonna go with the consensus view and take the Acropolis here. I'm not even that sure it's much stronger than Library, because Library is also great, and as I said, there's a little bit of anti-synergy to think of, but yeah. So not great that he gets one of the top wonders and top leader. I'll at least have the top wonder, I guess, and a leader, one of these two. So it's not a big loss, but still a little loss. So I'm going with Toto here and not Hippo. Just show the rest of the turn, but that's standard. I just elect and build a mine and pop. Think this is close. Think these two in overall power level are close. Difference is, of course, that Toto, you want him for a long time in the game. You basically want him all of H1, while Hippo, you want to replace him soon. Now, looking at these leaders, there's actually the two best transition leaders in the game. These two are very good at serving a short time because they give a lot of value per turn if you have them for a short time, and these three are good long-term leaders, and Mike is kind of a special one. He requires some special setup and is more situational, but can be very powerful, but he's situational. So with the two really good transitional leaders, I think that's why I go for Toto here. Although, of course, one of the good long-term leaders is here, but I expect that E5 will somehow break up the combo of Leo, Elf, and Alchemy and take one of those cards, so I do not get both of them. So that's why I went with Toto, and also there's a few good takes. I'll get at least one of those for one civil action, so I'll get quick value. If there's a bunch of yellows here, then that would also influence the decision and make the pick for Toto worse. Fighting band, and e5 takes monarchy for 3, and builds lab takes the EGA. Yeah, so the monarchy is heavily contested in this game. Like I said, Hammurabi is good at revolution, and I now have the Acropolis, so we both want it. That said, I'm not convinced he has to take it for 3. I'm not sure, because he's, like I said, he's now giving me the combo of Leo and Alchemy for once, all for one civil action. So I was not too unhappy that he gets this monarchy actually. But at least him paying 3 for it, it's a fair price. So I'm fine with that. And so yeah, I obviously take Leo Alchemy and Irrigation. I have to take Irrigation, it's on one civil action and it will be gone otherwise. So think this is really obvious, and getting this together is just very strong. I also quickly score 2 signs with Aristotle, that's nice. The big question here, and actually a very awkward part of this turn, is what to do with the last civil action. Because, so my plan for next turn is to go for an alchemy, and I want to build the second one directly. I'll have 6 rocks, even 7, because I get 1 extra. So yeah, I just want to elect Leo, develop alchemy, and build an alchemy. That's 2 of my actions. And what would be really nice is this masonry. So if I can get this masonry, I can get it very early, get 1 more science from Aristotle, and I can take the masonry in hand, switch to Leo, develop both masonry and alchemy, and go for and score 2 extra rocks and go for an alchemy directly. And that would be a really, really sweet turn. There's this Code of Laws on the board. That's probably the best deck in H1. And so that kind of improves my chances of getting the masonry, I think. And another thing is that he has the EGA and a 3-step wonder that requires the EGA on the middle step. So the masonry is a bit awkward for him. It's not gonna help him with the library easily unless he holds the EG, but that's also awkward, etc. And yeah, there's the code to fight over. So those are all reasons that the masonry might be available for me, and getting masonry for 1 this early I think is a very good into player. So I really wanted this possible turn to be available for me, but then the question is, what does my last action do? Because I can't take a card in my hand, because then this play doesn't work. I can't use this worker, because then this play doesn't work. I can build a step, but that's also bad, because my masonry, I'm just wasting the civil action if I get the masonry. So yeah, I can't take a card, I can't, so I could pop, but I really don't like popping in this instance, it just wastes the food. And yeah, I have an idle worker, so I just don't want to do that at this point. Maybe I should just pop, I don't know. Maybe that's the best solution actually. But in the end, what I did was the somewhat awkward play of building the lab anyway. So like I said, I want to go for an alchemy directly, but I will not do it and just use my 1 civil action for basically 1 science. And then, so it's kind of wasted action, but I score 1 science out of it, and I think that was the best thing to do with that 1 action. Yeah, it also leaves my actions a bit more free, I think, in case I want to change plans, because yeah, this is all pretty dependent on, for example, him taking the code, him not taking the masonry. There's of course possibilities that he does other things. Draw Dark Ages and Historic. And e5 actually goes for the for the revolution immediately, and then populate to get out of corruption. So that means the code will drop to 1 actually, and the masonry will be available, but I won't be able to do both of the, like I can't do the full turn I set and take the code, and obviously I will take the code. So I'm not unhappy. Like sure, getting this super early revolution is very powerful for sure. He'll get to finish the library cleanly next turn and have 6 civil actions going. So that's powerful, and yeah, taking this for 2 probably puts a strain on his science for a long time. So I understand, but he's giving me also this breakthrough this year. He's giving me a lot of powerful stuff for it, so I'm not unhappy. I see the historic, and warfare comes out, which I can't use, but that's not the biggest deal. And I'll of course go for the code, and then switch to Leo, develop the alchemy, and upgrades, and take the breakthrough with last action. So yeah, I don't get the masonry play because I get the code, and yeah, the code is still more powerful, I think, than the masonry. So yeah, I'm not gonna, and also the code would be available for him, of course, if I don't take it. So it's just not an option to leave him the code. But this is nice. I get Leo going very early. I'll get the breakthrough, the code with the breakthrough next turn. Have enough signs for more stuff after that. So it looks nice. I'm not gonna reveal the fighting band yet, because he has the monarchy, so he can easily copy it when he wants to, and might not have the most rouse yet. So I don't know. I don't want to show him this yet, and I'm not gonna see the Dark Ages because he has the monarchy. I'll probably go for an H2 government, so the Dark Ages will just never be good for me. I have good science production, but yeah, I'll want to save up some science at some point, so this is never going in. I draw the 2 happy face events. So finish the library first, and then yeah, he got the free warrior. And then probably I go for Nostradamus, probably the best H1 leader actually, and take the swordsman. So yeah, I think just a very simple turn. Yeah, finish the library, obviously you have to pop. As I said, I think Nostradamus is the best leader, and then take one of the red cards, kind of depending on what tactic you have, and I think swordsman is maybe a 2-player overall, like in the dark. Might even be the better card than knights. Not sure. So not seeding. What happened? I developed the code of laws, sure, and the irrigation as well. And this looks like it might give corruption problems, but I'm actually going for the 3rd farm directly. So my first instinct here was, yeah, develop code, upgrade this, and then pop a few times to get out of corruption. But then I saw that I could make actually a clean turn, just barely get out of corruption by popping twice, developing irrigation, and going for 1 directly. And I think it's better to have +2 on the food and +1 on the science. So this was actually kind of not so obvious for me at first, because I just instantly started with upgrading this and playing the code, and then I had to pop twice and just take a card. But I think this is nice. Get to use directly for H1 building, always very strong. Discarding both of those events, again not playing the fighting man, and again I thought I'm just not going to play these events. There's no Pierre in this game, so I'm not gonna go for bread and circuses. I just have no intention of building happy faces anytime soon, and it's good to know that they're not in. And yeah, especially against Nostradamus, they're kind of bad anyway because he knows about them, and so I'm never gonna see those 2. Draw the raiders to phalanx. And 3 more cards. Pestilence, Barbarians. So Richland Breakthrough and EG, that's a nice set of yellows to have in hand. And he went for Swordsman, interestingly, and built a temple. It's a few interesting moves, I think. There's not that much on the board, but with the 6 actions, you might consider Iron for 3, but it's kind of ridiculous when there's only 12 cards in the deck, right? So I understand, yeah, you just want to take these good yellows, that's nice for sure. And yeah, going for a Swordsman probably has a strength event in there, so yeah, makes sense. And not much else to do at this point, wait for iron or whatever. He skipped the irrigation, by the way. That was also the revolution turn, I think. And he couldn't take the irrigation. So that's interesting to keep in mind as well. So I see the barbarians, it's not gonna do anything, but figure I might as well take the one culture. And also I think I'd rather see this last event now, get something, oh no, we get this again. So yeah, the game was stuck for a moment, have to reload from this turn. So yeah, I'm seeding the barbarians just for one culture and to reveal the last development because I have some ways to use stuff. So I want to know what's coming out, and it is settlement, markets, and religion, and looks like I have the religion. Yeah, I think with Acropolis the religion is always nice if it comes out, and yeah, I even have food, so it makes the otherwise settlement is kind of close in power, but I have good food. I like the free religion here. I know there's no rebellion coming for sure, but okay, still nice to have this. Gives culture. Culture is good. Take the swordsman as well. Kind of interesting. So revealing the fighting band now because it's gonna be H2 by the time he can copy it. Yeah, the knights are on 2, so I'm not really going to compete for the strength, I'm just going to keep up, but I'm definitely not trying to be stronger, just too much effort at this point against Nostradamus. So yeah, just taking the swordsman in case he tries funny stuff. That's basically it. And what else did I do? Yeah, finishing Acropolis has to happen. Take swordsman, take rich lands, upgrade one more farm. Yeah, just using my rocks. Yeah. Not taking theocracy. I have good science income. I should be able to go for an H2 government. I actually win my historic with just a warrior and a card. It's nice. And I have to be a little careful though. I didn't. Yeah, I'm still just ahead and just behind in culture, so barbarians should be safe because he's gaining extra 3, of course, with every seed. And now he has to take the iron for 2. That's nice for me, I think. And yeah, just upgrades. I put in the pestilence because, yeah, I have good food production. He skipped irrigation, so that should be nice. Unfortunately, it's a free territory for him. I didn't really expect him to have territories in there, especially given that he, yeah, kind of has had to give up on the historic, but apparently he did, and he gets this one for free, just for warrior, and that's unfortunate. But yeah. So upgrade this and take a printing press. Like I said, especially Shakespeare is a very game warping leader. You want good population and you want the printing press in hand so that you can set up for Shakespeare. Even if I end up with Gaudi, maybe it's a good card. And it's a good card in general in 2-player, even if it's late in the age, like the age is over. Still, you want this in hand to be set up for Shakespeare. And yeah, I don't take the frugality, of course, because I want the iron still. I'm the weakest, so yeah. I draw H2 cards, that's fine. It's probably the best possible time to get hit by this anyway. Although it's gonna hurt me a bit though. So he finishes Himeji immediately. Yeah, I think this makes sense. He already has some rock income now, and yeah, strong wonder, and it's gonna cement his culture elite and make it harder for me to come back with a war. He's now producing basically 7 per turn. So he's kind of running away with this, and this is gonna help him defend that culture elite later on. That said, he doesn't have food upgrades, he doesn't have a Shakespeare setup yet, but he can still get this printing press. So yeah. But it's looking dangerous. He's got the rock lead and the culture lead and a way to defend that. So also 3 military actions with Nostradamus, so you can probably keep seeding all through H2 if he wants to. Yeah. And I drew classic army, which is okay potentially, and an aggression, so I'm definitely not seeding. So go for the iron now, and just the one upgrade with the rich land, which doesn't put me out of corruption, but I also build a warrior. So I could have done upgrades without the rich land to get out of corruption, but I also just want to have one warrior. I actually need it for defense. And it's actually awkward if he goes for an aggression with a sacrifice. He can win it, but at least the sacrifice is costly too. So, but yeah, so I need this for defense, and also if there's a territory, well, I'm probably not winning it regardless, but who knows, right? I can at least bid something. Draw war, not really useful. And yeah, that's my barbarians, which indeed does nothing. Takes a strategy for 2 and develops it immediately. Takes efficient upgrades. And also that was another swordsman build, yeah. So he kinda wants to go for this scientific method, I think. There is Bill and Sid in the game. So they have okay late game value, maybe like they're not a culture building, so they're a little worse in 2-player, but getting a scientific method really early is still nice. But the strategy is of course contested, and taking this efficient upgrade behind it makes sure the scientific method is not getting discarded. So if I want to deny it, I have to take it, and it's always good if you force your opponent to take a card away. So yeah, and if I don't take it, he can just straight go for 2 scientific methods, which is pretty powerful. So yeah, annoying. Oh, and he also goes up to 10 strength by developing the strategy, and even to 12 strength. Okay, so that's annoying. Okay, he's not threatening 2 upgrades now, but he's actually going for strength pressure. with this. And yeah, that's gonna be difficult. So yeah, no seeding from me. But there's the common. Okay. So this is lucky, for sure. This common gives me extra MAs, which is important. Let's see if I can defend against this now. Developing swordsman, build one, pop, play the patriotism, and build another, and upgrade one. So that puts me at 8, and yeah, that lets me defend against a non-sacrifice aggression. He can sacrifice for +2, but that's risky, of course. I could have. I need then an H2 card already. So maybe he does that, but at least then it costs him something as well. So that's less bad. And yeah, I just get lucky with getting the common just in time here. One thing is that I had to think about still in this turn. Yeah, you see I go for the swordsman here, but that meant skipping this cavalryman, and obviously I want the cavalryman. I just drew the hussars here, but I had the classical in hand, and so I want cavalryman, but I also end up at 5 signs after this. So yeah, I could not develop swordsman, of course, but then I also don't go and go for medieval. But I think I could then take swordsman, develop, and just build one. But I was at 7 strength, and I think let's see, 2 less of these, so -5 and +5. So it should be the same, but I don't get out of corruption that way. Yeah, I think that was the problem then. So I think if I do that, yeah, because I couldn't pop again, the extra population I took wouldn't be possible if I have to take the cavalryman. So yeah, this was a fairly clean way to get out of the pressure for now, and he can't add more. So the cavalryman, I sure want him, but I want a swordsman as well, so might as well go for the swordsman now and make sure I get out of corruption. Even if building the third one is a little bit ugly maybe, but I should have enough population to get the 2 cavalrymen by the time I need them. So I think this is fine. Even if I have to hope the cavalryman, the second copy, are not too late. So let's see if he goes for sacrifice. No. Also, yeah, he gets 5 culture just from seeding, so it's very expensive to go for sacrifice aggression for him without being sure it actually works. What does come out as the vast territory? I bid 2 swordsmen, so 5, but he wins it, and that's unfortunate. He gets it for really cheap. So he actually didn't only bid 1 for the historic at the very start, so either he drew these cards afterwards or he wanted to keep them for the developed maybe, because the vast probably wasn't seeded at that point, or he just drew them late, it could be, of course. Anyway, he gets this for cheap, and that's unfortunate. Because especially he skipped irrigation, he was a bit in trouble with the population potentially. But with the vast, that's all good now. He gets a breakthrough for 1. Takes a cavalryman. That's okay for me. Means the second copy is at least freely available, and doesn't go for this scientific method. So I think maybe he could do that. He used the efficient upgrade here though, so not sure. It's an option. But maybe he just wants to go for this journalism or so. No seeding. Yeah, I have the terrorism, so I could seed that, but I think I felt I can just as well seed that another turn. Don't want to push the deck too far, too much, because yeah, if he had ranked events, he'll have steered them. So I'll not see too much. This will be a good one to see, but I'll do it a little later probably. So yeah, pop one upgrade, take Rev ID, Wave, Journalism, and another upgrade. So I really, Shakespeare's on the board by the way. I really want to take this Journalism away from him. Without this, he cannot go for the Shakespeare. And yeah, he has the signs and the rocks for it, so it's just a really good thing for him to build right now, I think. And it would put his culture leads very far, and he probably should take Shakespeare, and then I don't see how I'm ever even getting back into this game. So I take this away, take the wave and the Rev ID for 1, wave for 2. I think both are very strong. Means yeah, there's more good yellows. Unfortunately, he'll get that breakthrough at least. But yeah, if I wanted to take this breakthrough as well, I had to leave probably this journalism, and I wasn't going to do that. So I had to take it here. Might be good for myself at some point even, but it's mostly a draft. Draw refugee strategic. And another territory comes out. You see that a lot of those. And I bid 2 swordsmen again, which is overpaying for this territory, and I'm not sure it's right. It's not the worst deal either. You get 3 H2 draws, but I'm not really looking for anything in particular. I have a tactic I can work with at some point, so I didn't want to have him, to give it to him for cheap. I was considering bidding 4 actually, just if he has a card he has to use it. Maybe I should have bid 4, who knows. Anyway, I bid 5, and I get this thing. Not thrilled about that. He gets the breeding, that's yeah, kind of obvious, go for upgrade. And take the breakthrough instead of going for the second upgrade. He can pop already next turn with the 1 upgrade, so taking the breakthrough is fine. Skips cannon, but the second cannon will be on 2 for me, so I can deny him cannons, but it's a bit costly. I have to pay an extra civil action. He has the Cavs in hand, but I know he doesn't have classical at least. He could have, and also hussars. We could have conquistadors, but that's not the best tactic. So potentially skipping the cannon, maybe a little risky, but also maybe just, well, I'm not sure I should take it for 2 either, because spending an extra civil action is always, that's basically the money in this game. Yeah, the breeding, I'm not thrilled that he gets it fairly easily, but yeah, there was no way I was gonna deny it for 3. So yeah. So yeah, I drew 3 extra cards, actually 2 colonization cards now, and the Ravages. And yeah, with now having more cards, I think it's time to see the terrorism. I have more cards I want to see now. And oh, my pestilence was still in there, so I knew this event. Oh yeah, that was yeah. I'm thinking maybe I should have seen it last turn, but that was actually a big reason. I knew about the pestilence and I didn't have a free pop at the time, so that was also a reason. This turn was interesting. Shakespeare's here, so I want to set up Shakespeare. But I couldn't go for journalism. I get 1 rock from developing, but as you see, I already developed a printing press, and I'm at 7 rocks after 1 one development, and also using this it was not possible to get a nice turn to get with the journalism going, because I don't have to build military actually, but I have to do some things. So it actually took me some time to realize I could just go for the printing press and not the journalism, because it feels a little weird maybe to build a press now, but with Shakespeare it's probably just like in some situations at least just better to go with printing press plus opera, because it produces enough anyway, and costs less rocks. So yeah, I don't get the journalism properly set up in this turn, but then I realize I can set up a printing press and be ready to start Shakespeareing. Build a printing press and take the Shakespeare, and then EG. There's still Ocean Liner and Statue, and both are really good here, I think. Statue, I have the 2 culture bonus currently, and getting some extra yellows would help me a lot with my population, and yeah, Ocean Liner obviously as well, so I think the ZG is really nice here. Also, don't want him to easily get either of those either, so I think the EG is the big enabler in this thing. As you see, I take this cannon, I'm not gonna deny him, and upgrade my food, because that makes my food situation just a lot cleaner. I can get 2 pops out next turn, and that's gonna be good. So even if, in case I go for Ocean Liner, if it happens, even then I'm still gonna have good food production, because I just want a lot of population here. And having these cards from the strategic, having these rows, does allow me to stay weaker now, and or a lot weaker. And yeah, but he knows I draw 3 cards, another 3, so he can expect a defense card at this point. I have 1 extra military action. I'm just gonna reveal this tactic now. Second copy of Cavs is on the board. And yeah, if I have to build strength, I'm gonna set up for classical anyway, so there's a good chance I just want to build 1 cavalryman next turn, and then having this now will let me use my military actions efficiently, so this is nice. I kept it for the purpose of building up to classical. And then there's one more thing. I could have not taken cannon, of course. Could have just played the Rev ID, for example. But I still thought it would be nice to have options of stronger, like if I draw even fortifications at this point, or some H3 tactics. I still just like to have the cannon in case he goes for heavy military, because I have Shakespeare now, and he has a culture lead, but it's only 25 at this point. So Shakespeare can actually catch it up pretty soon, even against Bach potentially. So yeah, because I also have a lot of population set up. That's the important thing here. I think you need a lot of population to set up the Shakespeare, and I think with this and with the Acropolis, of course, there's also that I should be able to out-culture him in a straight culture war. So just having this cannon in case it gets military heavy, because that might be his plan then. Fast civil, okay. And he does try an aggression now, but like I said, I had defense cards from the territory, and I have to use 1, and I keep only the ravages in hand. I think the civil unrest might be dicey at some point to Shakespeare setups. Don't overload on happy face, like where you're just scraping by on happy faces often. So yeah, not keeping the civil unrest, and the vast, I'm already spending a card, he might try more aggressions, so not gonna go for colonies. And think the strategic, or no, just an aggression or whatever. Goes for a bit more strength, goes for Catherine, so won't go for a culture leader, not Bach. This takes the cannons here, of course. So he did give up on 5 culture by trying that aggression. Kind of signifies that he will try more aggressions now. Draws 3 more cards. Could of course go for wars even. So I'll have to be careful from now on. And also Catherine threatens to steal yellow at some point, but yeah, it's just gonna happen probably. But yeah, he's clearly going for a strength heavier plan now. Even though this 4 swordsman setup is not ideal perhaps, but defensive is the most threatening here. Yeah, if he has defensive, then that's threatening. So I have the ravages, and I will see them. Yeah, I think having Acropolis with the H2, yeah, lose the crime wave. With H2 government, it's fine to lose Acropolis at this point, especially with him not going for Bach. That means I won't need the culture building limits extra from Acropolis. It's not gonna be that culture heavy. I'll need to build culture for sure because I still have to catch up 30 something. But I probably won't need like four operas or whatever. So I'm fine with seeding ravages. This is a cheaper wonder. Library is also not a bad wonder to lose, but it was the more expensive one, so it's a little more valuable, let's say. So I'm fine if it gets destroyed in this deck now. So my events here are terrorism and ravages at this point. Okay, for the turn then. Yes, so I have to build military like I kind of expected. So I have to build a cavalryman that puts me at 10, and that's actually safe even against an sacrifice aggression with this card, so that's good. And then I take the architecture, develop it with Leo still, take the opera of course, and then go for Shakespeare, populate, and yeah, that's it. And yeah, I'm ready to start going for operas. I got this architecture, it's very nice. So yeah, if I have to build a bunch of culture, I'm completely set up for that now, barring an iconoclasm, of course. And if I have to build military, I have this wave still in hand, and I have the classicals, so I should be fine for now. Of course, problem is if I have to do both, age is gonna end, so yellow tokens getting a little problematic. I won't get the statue, but maybe the ocean liner. Yeah, he'll steal yellow, of course, so my yellow bank is getting a little problematic, perhaps, and yeah, I'll need to find the time to go for this opera and to go for military. Yeah, we'll see. Arms industry to draw. Also the conquistadors actually might be useful even, but it's rare. Tries again an aggression, so I have to use my other defense cards, and now I'm out of them. And he goes for team sports. Yeah, needs a happy face solution, and it also increases his strength and then takes an urban growth. It's a little awkward because he knows about the terrorism because of Nostradamus, and he didn't have anything good to destroy with it. So it's a little awkward that he has to build that, but yeah, he couldn't really do anything else. He was at the limit of his happy faces, so he kind of has to do it, but at least he gets this urban growth. So once it gets destroyed, he can just rebuild it. It does mean that by taking this team sports and this opera, the ocean liner actually falls to the 1 civil action area. I put in the arms industry. Yeah, I have the CAFs already, so why not? And yeah, I want to hit the terrorism soon, of course. Like now would be good. But instead it's the territory again. But yeah, he depleted my colonization cards, and he bid 4 the last time, so he for the strategic he probably had a card for that, so he will have the cards. And I take the ocean liner. Yeah, that was also why the architecture already was really nice. With the EG and the architecture, I just get this for super easy. Then I can go for an opera and take that frugality because I want even more population. Like I said, even with the ocean liner, even with having gone for food really early, it's still kind of the limiting factor here. So yeah, just more and more pops. Because I can put them in cheap urban buildings. I have this wave and this tactics to put them in military. I just have to find the guys and the time to do all that. And now I'm producing 8 cultures, so I'm finally starting to catch up slowly, but hopefully accelerating that later. Draw impact of tech. Don't think I'm going for wars or aggressions at any point here. But who knows? He has a lot of rocks now with the wealthy. So let's see what he does with them. Uses scattering this turn. Yeah, he could go for a aggression with sacrifice actually at this point. So, but yeah, again, always risky. He's losing something and doesn't know if I can if it will do anything. So, yeah, goes for cavalrymen. Interestingly, 2 of them. Oh yeah, and copies the medieval. So apparently he doesn't have any tactic because, or maybe mobile or Napoleonic, yeah, could be one of those. But no yeah, no defensive basically, and no fortifications. So he just goes to copy this. I know he doesn't have classic or conquistadors or hussars, so he just copies my tactic and yeah, maybe go for Napoleonic or mobile at some point. So yeah, more strength increases what he does with the rocks. Let's see, I take the military theory then, of course, and even the patriotism too, yeah. So full military basically at this point, and trying to keep his culture lead by pressuring on military now and forcing me to build military instead of Shakespeare stuff. I see the impact of tech. I still want to hit this card, and here it is. And also it's not bad, I think. He used all of his science on the cavalryman basically. Will be a while until he gets even 1 H3 tech and probably won't get more than 1. Maybe with Rev IDs, I don't know. I think I'm going to take this 1 copy for, yeah. So I'm actually gonna go a bit out of my way because I have a lot of things to do on this turn, but I'll go for this Rev ID to deny him this military theory basically, and then that fact also makes impact of tech a little better because I'll have one of the 2 Rev IDs already, so he probably won't get more than 1 H3 tech out. I don't have plans for a whole lot of them currently, but I will go for 1 this turn. We'll see. So first I have to take Dietrich. Yeah, I built a second opera with Shakespeare, and that's where the Shakespeare story is ending actually. Because of, yeah, I'm a bit under military pressure, and Dietrich with his 2 operas will actually give me enough. So just gonna think I swap now, yeah. And I needed more happy faces to be able to build my military, and yeah, the tactic bonus will be useful too. So I'm not gonna go for more Shakespeare pairs because I have to build military, and he built 2 operas for cheaper, developed it for cheaper, and that was his job, and now Dietrich will take over. And then I go for the democracy. So player FID. So yeah, use the military action from the common first, and then take this Rev ID for 3 as I said, and with the 3 rocks I can build this, and Dietrich will complete the tactic. So yeah, producing 14 culture now thanks to the democracy and the second opera, and that should be enough to overtake him. So, and if he tries for more culture, I can just add more operas, um, which are really good for me with Dietrich. So like this, I make sure I have enough to overtake him, and I make sure I can keep doing that if he adds more culture. So we have to focus on the strength, and then yeah, you see I need the happy face from Dietrich. Actually, not really, maybe. I don't know. I need the tactic bonus this turn. That's the point. Um, Otherwise, I can't defend. Yeah. Leaving Hollywood and Red Cross, both of those were the wonders I was kind of hoping for, but they're just too early. And like I said, I went out of my way to take this Rev ID. I would have liked to take a Hollywood, or maybe even more the Red Cross. I think it's very nice for me. Yeah, either of those, but unfortunately they're just too early. Would be better if they came late. But yeah, I think denying him this Rev ID so that he can't go for his military theory anytime soon is actually he has strategy. So never mind that he can't go for an Air Force soon. Let's call it that. And for like maybe the cannon and an Air Force or whatever, he's gonna need more science to get realistic pressure going, and science is definitely his bottleneck. So never mind about the military theory. That's more of a hate draft from him probably. Um, yeah, so I think that's a nice setup, uh, and I have to just defend myself now, and maybe at some point build an extra opera or whatever. Draw defense card and positional, and yeah, I got lucky here because this time he does go for the sacrifice, and I drew the H3 card. I did have draws a turn before, H3 draws a turn before as well, so it's not completely unreasonable that I have one card at this point. But yeah, I just drew it in time for just in time when he goes for the aggression at the sacrifice. And this infiltrate would have been really huge if he kills Marlene here. That's 9 culture for him and huge impact on the rest of the game. I get happy face troubles. My army is not. I need an extra unit for the army at every point. I'll lose some culture production, and yeah, he gets 9. So this aggression is crucial, and it luckily for me fails. And then he takes the computers and Bill Gates. So yeah, new plan kinda for him. Takes the engineering as well. It's a bit more ambitious. Why not this efficient upgrade? Uh, yeah, I don't get this. Because he has to spend all his science on computers now. Okay, sure, he has the rocks to go for computers straight away then. But is he really going to have engineering too? I don't know. I think this efficient upgrade is just efficient. Uh, yeah, don't like not taking it. Not sure why. So I pop without the frugality actually. Yeah, because I'll need to get out of corruption. And now that he doesn't go for more military, I can add an opera. I have to build a cavalryman though, because I don't want to risk a sacrifice aggression again. And take the military build-up and the reserves and the air forces. Yeah, just think at this point I'm really ready for military. Have a lot of rocks in hand, have the air force, so I can defend myself well, I think. And yeah, he's gonna set up this build computer anyway, so he won't be going military right now probably. Mm, yeah, and then just this also means I want to build an extra opera, and produce more culture, because of course the gates will have a good end game. It doesn't have very long, it's pretty short time to set this up and get some benefits, but yeah, you'll have good impacts. The gates always has good impacts. So yeah, just build more culture, because I still need to overtake him. We're not out of the woods yet, because I think I have to produce still, yeah. So we are at 71 against 76. So next term I'm overtaking him, but yeah, the bill will have some endgame scorings, so we'll see. Now my Ravages comes out. Yeah, this was also a reason I had to go for that democracy turn immediately. If not, I would have. There were like better turns where I hold that democracy for one turn and do something else first, I think. But yeah, the risk was that my Ravages would come out and then I couldn't go for democracy, so I had to do it immediately, basically. So goes for gates now and computers. Takes the movies, yeah. And communism, yeah, maybe, not sure. But yeah, doesn't have anything else to do probably. And then I had to think a lot about this turn. Let's look at it first. So I'm using the frugality here, which yeah, I had to get rid of anyway. And then take EG reserves and United Nations and build one more opera. Looks kind of straightforward if you see it like this, maybe, but there was quite a lot to think about. First of all, let's look at the wonders. There's still the Empire State Building left, and one thing to consider here was whether I should not take UN, which was going to drop off, and maybe deny him Empire State, because he has 2 wonders. If he wants to take Empire State from the 3 civil action part, it's costing him 5. But then he can just build another computer with his last action, maybe. But I don't think that's good enough for me. Like I was considering if it was expensive enough, but I think that turn would still be fine for him, and then I don't have one, and he does have one, so that's not great. So that's why I have to take the UN, which is going to be just 16 probably. I don't have any impacts now, so I'm not going to get +1 impact at some. Like I could just see if I have a good impact. So I think it's just 16 points for me, but I get this EG and these reserves. One next thing to consider, I'm taking 5 cards now, like 5 cards are dropping off now, which makes it kind of likely that the age will end before my turn, which is bad because I would still like to draw impacts, like for UN or for seeding, whatever, but and also because I will get 1 extra population out if the age doesn't end. But yeah, it was more important to have just 9 more rocks, so this is just the turn I ended up with. Probably there were more things I was thinking about at the time, but, who knows. Draw industry, which is 6 for each. Okay, playable, but whatever. As for events, there is 1 unknown event from him and the arms industry from me, which gives us each 4 rocks currently, so that's also something to keep in mind. And the culture is currently 84, 94, so 90 basically at this point if we already add the gates bonus, but then I have also 2 more big productions, which score me a lot of points. His event is immigration, which doesn't do anything. It does go for the engineering after all, so. And builds another team sports, interestingly. So probably architecture or happiness, competition. Yeah, could be good for a lot of impacts. Copies my classical at this point, going to 30 strength. So the Empire State is not on the row, and he did not take any cards, not from discard spots, but it appears now. So I had to think about whether I should uh, finish my wonder and deny his, which I can do, I think, but just barely. Takes 2 actions to finish this because I have to use the EG and 11 rocks. So I have to use 1 reserves and play my impact to get 4 more rocks. So that's 1, 2, 3 actions to finish the wonder. And wait, does it work? 8. No, it doesn't. I thought I could do it, but let me check again. So I need 11 resources, so I have to get the 4 from this, and then I have to play EG, play this, finish. That's 3 actions. So I can't actually take that wonder, apparently. Okay, but I wasn't gonna do it. Never mind. So I get a free pop at least. As you see, I didn't see the impact actually. Didn't see the need to show to him the 4 rocks already. I'll have enough chances. I won't finish this wonder. I'll have enough chances to use any good impacts I may draw. There's not that many good ones probably anyway. Well, there's probably some. So I go for an Air Force with military buildup. Kinda have to do this for defense anyway. And I'll leave the Empire State here. So his turn could be take it for 5, finish it, which means he doesn't get the endowments. And by taking strength away, he basically only gets rock and science. There's no way he can get culture, and food is equal, but he has no actions left if he takes and builds the Empire State. So there's nothing he can do about strength or food, even though he's only a little behind. So that would be only 14, I think, 7 points. 14 points for Empire State, which is not that much, and yeah, he can just play Endowment for 6, build a movie, which is already 10, and yeah, developing a tech is actually worth 4 points as well, even though he doesn't know this, but so likely he just won't go for Empire State. There will be better things to do with his turn than 14 points for sure. So I leave it on 3. If I let it come here, then he can already get 6 plus 14, which is probably better than other things he can do this turn. So I'll make sure not to touch the row, basically. So at this point I built an Air Force, yeah, so making sure he can't score an extra 7 there, and also I defend, basically. Also good for some impacts like Harmony. And I take the cards that are on the discard spots. And then I'll actually go for this journalism, which also took me a while to consider. My Acropolis is gone, so I can't build more operas. And then I'll also take this efficient upgrade, so I can even upgrade the printing press. So that's nice. Yeah, this Rev ID actually won't do anything, but whatever. So I'm not. I had some other things in mind probably when I took this, but because I was also considering a bunch of other turns, but never mind. I won't be short on actions anyway. So 2 more draws in, and no impact. So the arms industry is revealed, and so at this point I have impact of technology here, and 3 impacts are his. And yeah, he doesn't go for Empire State, as I said. He has better things than 14. Just endowment, build movie, and can build another movie maybe, or even more than that. Yeah, so another movie, and another team sport. So yeah, architecture probably is in. And he destroyed military, which is bad for harmony, bit bad for competition. So, and at this point, did he produce? Yeah. So at this point, he's at 114, 123. I don't seed. It's basically 3 points for seeding. One of those is impact of tech, which would cost me 4 points if it's revealed now. So that's -1. I don't know the other two, but it's fairly likely, I think, that my turn will improve some impact. So it's fairly likely that I would not gain much on average from seeding. So I just went with a low variance play of not seeding, I guess. Because I think I'm ahead at this point. I'm sure I'm winning this game. So I'll have another big production. I'll have a 16 from UN. Not revealing this. Then yeah, might as well go for civil service. Good for progress. And I'll also delete one swordsman and build another journalism even. So yeah, I have oh no, don't tell me I have destroyed it. Oh, no, okay. Right. Okay. Yeah, I had like 50 culture leads, -9, so yeah, 40 culture lead exactly, if I take Gates into account, and I think impact of science is a 10-0 for him, and that was the most scary one of all, so with 3 impacts, he's just not going to overtake me. And the game is stuck. Come on, okay. But it's annoying. I have to do this flipping thing now. So impact of progress. Yeah, sorry for this awkward ending, but yeah, like I said, competition and then architecture, I guess. So technology hostel. Okay, whatever. And Gates bonus, please. Yeah. So I win by 30 to 40 something, I guess. Yeah, this is the final result, and I win this game against d5. Yeah, so happy. Another win, 4 more points on the tally. And at this point, I have finished all 5 of my games against e5, and yeah, I won. I finished ahead of him in all of them, and basically this means that I am at this point I'm now certain that I finish ahead of e5. Wardzinets still has chances to win the group, but it's like he has to win everything probably, and then the other results will have to go his way as well. So it's a slim chance for him. But Pascalotopia is definitely still in the running, has fewer game finished than me. So yeah, we'll see. He beat me in the 1-3 player. I finished ahead of him in the 2-4 players. But yeah, if he beats me in the 2 remaining games against him, then he probably still can definitely win the group as well. So yeah, that's the standings at this point, and yeah, we'll see you in the next game. Bye.